I feel like there is this narrative about the Christian life that almost makes living like Jesus look like it's some sort of burden. Like it's shackles around our ankles and our neck and our wrists. Like God's precepts, as we see in so many places, actually bring about more slavery than they do freedom. And when we see throughout Scripture, we actually see writers talking about how much joy and blessing that is found in following God's commands. What do you love about Jesus? Let me ask you that. Perhaps you might say, I love his forgiveness. I love his compassion. I love, and you're going to go on to this list, this checklist of different reasons you love Jesus. Well, he saved me. Besides the fact that he saved you from hell, if we were to really break down the characteristics of Jesus, we could really point to that and say, yes, I love all of those things about Jesus. Now, the Bible calls us to live in that same way. So, if we are in such adoration of Jesus and his characteristics and his nature, then why is it when God calls us to that type of life that we would have the audacity to say, well, hey, you're putting a wet blanket over my head, you're weighing me down, this feels like such a burden. But if we are filled with the Spirit today, when God gives us a command for obedience, we find joy in that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that there are some times where our humanness can get a hold of us and we find ourselves like, I don't know, God, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if that's gonna follow through like you think it is. But what we realize is if the things that we are feeling and hearing and sensing from God, if they line up with Scripture, if they line up with his will for humanity, and if they give glory to him, those are things that we can really be confident in. Galatians chapter 5 verse 1 says this, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." Well, what does that mean? It means when we read that, we think, oh, it's for my freedom. Well, yes, it is for my freedom, but it's also that we may be freedom distributors to the world around us. We're not banging people over the head with our Bibles or, wagging our fingers, but we are showing them the path to freedom. Their chains can be broken if they will just follow Christ and his precepts. What do we love about Jesus? Write out the task list. Write out the whole checklist of things that we think about when we think about Jesus. God is calling us to that same kind of life. And I am so grateful. In my humanness, sometimes I am not always grateful. But when we look back on it, we can look at those times where we didn't feel grateful, and we can look back and go, wow, God really did an amazing thing in my life in the midst of this. So it's for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. That is our charge today. I hope you have a great week.